Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to A Man, a Van, a Plan. This is episode, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 of the van build. Got two projects I'm going to try and complete today. The first one is I bought a swivel for the passenger seat, and I'm going to try and install that so the passenger seat can actually turn and be used as a piece of furniture when you're parked and when you're camping. The second thing is my propane tank finally came in today. Actually, it came in a couple of days ago. So we're going to work on getting that mounted up underneath, and then I can really get cranking on this project. That propane tank, not having that has really been putting me behind. So I'm really happy that I have that now. I've got a couple of buddies who are going to be here in about an hour to help me out getting that mounted, because that's something I've never done before. Gail, you're going to recognize. And I got a new guy, well, not new, I've known him for many years. He's a good friend, Kevin. He's going to come in. He's actually an engineer, and not only is he great at doing this kind of stuff, but he absolutely loves doing this kind of stuff. So Gail and I are going to discuss this propane tank and what we think is the best way to mount it. And then Kevin's going to show up here in 10 minutes, tell us we're wrong, and we're going to do it his way. I've been under there looking around. All right, and unfortunately what we have is right down the center, which is a prime mounting spot. We have the cable for the emergency brake.
You don't need an emergency brake.
Well, I was thinking about just cutting it and getting rid of it, because who uses an emergency brake? That is not actually something that we can do. So my other option was, I was thinking about dropping the spare and making a box here for the spare, so the spare would actually be inside. By code, these are supposed to be mounted outside, which is why I spent $700 on an exterior mounted tank. But the question is,
Where do you want it?
where do we want it? So I think we need to crawl underneath the van, figure out where we want it, and then when Kevin comes, he'll tell us we're wrong.
Yeah.
And put it where Kevin thinks, because he's the smart one in this.
Because he's Kevin.
Because he's Kevin.
Wow.
Well, hi, Kevin.
Howdy. I wonder, something that's about as round as that the tank is, if we could see how hard it is to put that, in here, then we could look at that.
All right, I'm going to put you guys down, and Kevin and I are going to suss this out.
Okay.
All right, I think we've come up with a game plan. What we've done is we've put the van up on the rhino ramps, and then we've got jacks here that we're setting up just as an extra little bit of caution in case the rhino ramps start to give way. And we went ahead and we dropped the spare tire out to give us a little bit more room. We're going to try and mount the tank right there at the back of where the emergency brake cables start to come down. Kevin seems to think that that is enough space, and he's usually right about things, so that's what we're going to do. So here's how this is done.
There you go.
You get a couple of suckers and you say, it ain't every day you get to mount a propane tank up underneath a van, and then they come in and do all the work.
David, could you get me a pepperoni pizza?
I will buy you whatever kind of food you want once this tank is mounted up under here.
Wow.
All right, you ready for that tank?
We are ready for the tank.
I hope this project doesn't tank.
Oh, first pun of the day. That's pretty punny.
I'm well known for my puns.
Oh, Kevin, you're a gas. So after about an hour of trying to figure things out, we decided that that area right there was not going to work for the tank. It fit, but we decided it bent the brake cables a little too much, and we did not want to get into any kind of messing with any emergency brakes or any safety features of the van. We also had this rear axle to deal with. We thought the van, once Gail's done pounding, thanks Gail, we thought that the tank was just too close to the axle. So what we've done is we've decided to mount it right here, right where the spare tire goes. I'm either gonna, well, we think we got this laid out now, so I'm crawling underneath the van to drill up into it. It's the first time I've drilled through the floor. Wish me luck.
Do you have anything to say to the camera, David?
What?
Do you have anything to say to the camera?
What?
I feel like you're screwing with me right now.
No, just like opportunity for B-roll. Plus I'm getting a man in action here.
You didn't say he's getting man-on-man action, right?
Hello?
All right, we've got these brackets hanging on the bottom. We opted to put the tank in a little bit cockeyed to keep it away from the heat shield and the muffler. I think next is to lift it into place and bolt it down.
Yeah, like down to raspberry or like pickleberry quart.
Down in the hollow.
I got it, my tank.
Your tank.
All right, now I cannot see where these are, so.
Oh, got it.
Mine's over the bolt.
So's mine.
Hot damn!
That was much easier.
Now you ready for the bolts?
Yeah, I've got the tank, so if you guys need both hands, you take your hands and do what you will.
Hello?
Just don't tickle me. Oh, damn it, my nose itches.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. My tank.
Alright, just need a wheat dell.
A wheat dell?
Wheat dell. Drocket Cyber.
It's right there by your ear. Other ear, left ear.
Jeremy's here?
So Kevin, you were saying if I was going to be doing this alone, what now?
I was just going to ask, how would you accomplish this?
There's absolutely no way. Do you remember like 2 months ago when I was talking about a welder?
Yeah,
Well, this is what I was going to get the welder for.
I see.
And I knew I was going to need at least your help. There he is, the man in his natural habitat. Holding tools,
Holding tools.
kicking ass, and solving problems.
And getting dirty.
And getting dirty.
And dirty to me.
Well, I naively thought that was going to be a 90-minute, maybe 2-hour process. It's not. It wasn't. It's probably pushing 5 o'clock at this point. So it took 3 guys 5 hours to figure this out. But it's hung. It's underneath. We ended up putting it at an angle underneath there so that it wouldn't interfere with the heat shield, and I'm actually glad it's behind the heat shield to give it a little extra protection. I also think that I won't need to put any extenders on it. It's up under there solidly. I'm happy with where it's at. I think I'm gonna call it a day right there. We'll pick this up maybe tomorrow, and I'll finish up putting that swivel seat in. See you tomorrow. So right under here is the driver's seat. You got the gas pedal and the brake pedal right here. I believe that the access for the battery is underneath this particular cover. So I'm going to pull that up. All right, I found the battery. In the limited amount of research I've done on installing these seat swivels, I've read that you actually want to disconnect the battery. That way, when you disconnect the connections under the seat, the airbag doesn't go off. I certainly don't want any airbags to deploy. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery now. All right, to disconnect this battery for the negative, we've just got this little toggle, I don't know what you call that, toggle switch. That just comes off like so. We'll set that over there. And then we're going to get a wrench and take that connection off right there. All right, battery's completely disconnected now. Next, we want to remove all these screws. I count 4 of them back here and 2 up front. I'm going to put these in my pocket for safekeeping. All right, I've got the seat loose, so I'm going to try and pull it off and lay it back. This is as far as it's going to come right now. I've got a couple wires attached that I need to cut. Unfortunately, I'm not at my house right now. I'm out at my shop, so I don't have all of my stuff with me. Long story as to why. But suffice it to say, I gotta go find a knife. For the moment at least, I'm gonna leave these wires attached. I'm probably gonna have to detach them at some point, but for right now, I'm just gonna leave them just like this while I figure out the swivel. So I think this is going to be fairly easy. Famous last words. You know, I thought putting in that tank yesterday was going to be fairly easy, but it took 3 guys almost 5 hours to do. The nice thing is, next time I do one of these, it should take about 90 minutes because I know where not to put it now. So anyway, let's get this hardware sorted out and see if we can figure out what's going on. So from what I can see is I need to attach this swivel back down into the factory seat base with the factory screws that I took out. Then I'm going to bolt the seat onto the part that actually swivels with those 6 bolts. I'm looking at this here, and I think I'm going to have to go ahead and before I attach this swivel seat down, I need to unattach the wires and then run the wires through this big hole. If I don't do that, then when I go to swivel the seat, these wires are going to get bound up. So this has a nice big hole here. I think that's a perfect place to run these wires. Double check that your battery is disconnected before you do this. Alright, my wires are all disconnected here. So the seat is completely free from the base. Alright, I'm putting the base back on. And we're going to plug all, and next we're going to plug all these wires back in going through the hole. The nice thing is that they're color coded. Okay, for the moment I'm just going to leave these loose. I will do some cord management after I've got everything attached. Next I'm going to take these screws and screw the swivel down to the base. All right. Looks like that's going to turn quite nicely. Now to take the chair, set it back up, and fasten the chair back down to the top swivel. Getting this lined up is a wee bit of a challenge. The chair really wants to slide around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick a bolt through this front one here with a washer. Then I'll do the same for the other 5. All right, I've got all of these just finger tightened. Now I'm going to go around with some sockets and wrenches and finish tightening them up. So I have all of the bolts tightened down with the nuts, and I went to turn the chair, and guess what I did? I put all these nuts and bolts on upside down. If you take a look at this guy right here, when I go to turn, actually it's the one behind it. See if I can focus on it here. When I go to turn, that hits right in here. So I've got to take all these out, turn them around, and tighten them down the other way. So that's what I'm going to do now. All right, I've got it in. Let's see if it turns now. That will work quite nicely. That was a very easy project to do. All told, it took me just a little over an hour. I still do need to rehook up the battery and then put my tools away, but that took me just over an hour. I was slowed down a bit by filming, and then also putting on those bolts the wrong way. So changing those all over probably added another 10 minutes to the project. So pretty easy to do. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to end this one. We got the tank in, we got the swivel on. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take the rest of the day off. It's not even 9 a.m. and the whole rest of the day is mine. Thanks a lot for coming along. Keep adventuring, keep building, and we'll see you next time.